means that thousands of people have been stranded across the Alps after once-in-a-generation weather dumped almost 2 meters of snow on some ski resorts in less than 48 hours. In Sestriere, an avalanche engulfed 2 floors of a hotel overnight, smashing windows and filling corridors with snowy rubble. 69 people were evacuated, but no one was injured.
Hi there and welcome to Climbing Daily. Now, today's show, you're going to get some awesome footage of climbing shot on drones. That's going to be part of our drone festival that launches next week. But before that, it's been a really busy week in the world of climbing, so we're going to give you a rundown of what's been going on. So Alex Migos has headed home to Germany to climb one of his most difficult routes yet, making the first ascent of Supernova. The route's got around 18 metres and doesn't have many rests on it, so Alex needed 5 days to work on it, which in Alex Migos terms is an absolute marathon.
Hello, I'm Katie Dartford and welcome to Toulouse. This time I'll be exploring the 4 different departments of Tarn, Gers, Tarn-et-Garonne and the Haute-Garonne in the south of France.
So we've just arrived at Toulouse Airport in the Midi-Pyrenees and we're going to head off around an hour to the town of Auch to discover the origins of Armagnac.
As I arrived at Armagnac de Lourdes, I was excited to see many elegant bottles of Armagnac, with blends ranging from 3 to more than 30 years old, as well as some vintages from the 1900s to now.
And now we stamp it with my seal.
Now 50 people are spending the night stranded inside cable cars high above the mountains and glaciers of Mont Blanc in the French Alps. Well, let's get the very latest. We're joined by Katie Dartford, an adventure sports journalist and news editor at World Radio Switzerland, who joins us live from Chamonix. Explain to us, what kind of conditions will they experience overnight?
Well, it's pitch black out there at the moment. There's no moon. There's hardly any stars. There's about 12 separate cable cars. They're like bubbles on the line that goes from the Aiguille du Midi over to the Heilbronner. So they'll be hanging up there quite high up above the glacier, not being able to see very much.
And do we know how and why these wires had become crossed? Something about strong winds?
Yeah, some wires became crossed. It's been very windy. It's been very hot. Nothing's ever happened like this before. The cable car system up there is pretty new, so it's quite unexpected.
So, Katie, bring us the very latest on, are these people still inside the cable car?
No, I've just been speaking to 4 of the guys. They've been at the cafe at the bottom of the Aiguille du Midi lift station. They've been there for probably a good hour. I think they told me they were warming up. They were very cold overnight. The people I spoke to were reasonably calm. I think the rescue services did a very good job to reassure them, but they did tell me that they were concerned because they could see in front of them, I believe it was a Korean couple with some young children, so that they were worried for the children more than anything else.
And presumably an investigation's been launched. Have the French authorities said anything about what caused it and to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, but I spoke to the head of the company de Mont Blanc earlier, and he was very calm, not worried that it would happen again. It was just, to him, it was almost like one of those things, and people shouldn't be put off going up on the lifts.
And now to Italy, where extreme floods have been lashing out the country. But for more on this story, I'm now joined by Katie Dartford, who's been following the story for us. What is happening over there?
Most of the major tourist sites across Italy, such as the Colosseum in Rome and Pompeii, they have been shut down. So, and major parts of Venice flooded. So the water reached 1.5 meters yesterday. That's very close to the 1979 high of 160 centimetres. We're talking about this huge anti-Russian rally that took place in Tbilisi. Do you understand what the protesters were angry about?
I think that the reaction of the population is very natural, but I don't think that we should continue into that direction.
So what's your response to Vladimir Putin suspending flights to Georgia then?
The response is that tourists should continue to come because they love Georgia.
But what sort of steps and preparations, would they take? Survival steps, basically?
Well, the biggest thing you can do to prepare for this is it's years and years of experience. And in terms of Tom Ballard, he has grown up in the mountaineering world. His mother, Alison Hargreaves, the first woman to summit Everest without oxygen. He's grown up with that around him, the Dolomites. So both of them, Daniel Nardi as well, has attempted to scale this peak several times in winter. They know how to read the conditions, and they would have been fit. They would have been up there on the mountain. They've been there for several weeks, acclimatising and getting fit. So they were in the best possible shape they could have been to make the attempt of the summit. This is the Cathedral of Sainte Marie in Auch. It's one of the last Gothic cathedrals built in Europe. Inside it's Gothic and outside it's Renaissance. This is the Abbey de Florent, and it's one of the best preserved monasteries in the southwest of France. We've been hearing how the monks here would pray 8 times a day, and they'd have to wait for a candle to melt in the middle of the night. When it finally melted, they'd have to get up at 2 a.m. and start to pray. So these are the very steps the monks would walk down 8 times a day, and they'd go and sit there to pray for half an hour.
Unfortunately, my time in France had come to an end, and I headed for home.
So I had a really great time in Toulouse, and I think I'll definitely be back sometime soon. Back to the UK now.